What is up, homies? It's your boy Mike Mason here for another fireside chat. With me is my co-host, the beautiful Carrie Strope.
Howdy, y'all.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, we have a special demo from the one and only Cowboy on deck tonight. Hence, Carrie's festive outfit, looking good. Yeehaw!
Giddy up.
So yeah, we're gonna we're gonna mount up and watch this demo. This was filmed at East Coast Melt back in 2018, back when Cowboy was one of the headliners. And yeah, he is known for, the reversal, kind of that OG wig-wag style. But man, over the years, he has really refined it. And man, he is just a super nice dude. I had the pleasure earlier this year when I was in Eugene of stopping by his studio, which is a really big spot with I don't know, probably 10, 20 benches out there and so many cool cats. God, that was just one of the many things I have to tell you guys about another time because that was a big trip. But back to Melt. Melt is a summer camp for glass artists. If any of you are not familiar, it's incredible. The lineup is incredible. Classes and demos and everything else you could do at a camp. And it's evolved to fishing tournaments and just a million amazing things. Um, I actually do have something very special for you guys. I know y'all have seen Sean Gold's incredible 30-minute fireworks show. And, we're always focused on the sky, but I do have some very special ground level footage that I wanted to share with y'all before we get started. So, yeah, I thought that was worth a share, if not a copyright strike or whatever. So anyways, but we're really are about to get into it. Melt, you guys, one of the reasons I was like, Melt this week, is that they have announced the dates. It's like the 7th through the 11th of September in 2020. Tickets will go on sale January 1st, they said. And apparently, prices aren't changing or anything. If you have to pay fees and stuff like that, that's on you. But I think it'll still be like 1,100 for the torch level ticket, which includes lodging in a cabin with hot showers, all your meals, slamming meals for real. Uh,
hmm
Everything you can do at the camp, the torch station. You have all the gases you want. Some guys come out there and really try to give them a run for their money, doing massive milli builds and all that sort of jazz.
I bet.
It's incredible. There's a skate park there. There's a lake. It's incredibly beautiful. I'll show you guys just a minute of that in just a second. Let's pop that off. Actually, we could talk about a million things, but I didn't really nothing too new came across the radar this week. So let's pop this off. Glass Central Station, baby. That's me, and with the help of Carrie and Whitefire out there, and it means so much that you guys out there are here with us, and these companies you're seeing now are pitching in every month to help make it possible. Um, Whoa. Heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. That's kind of crazy. All
Uh-oh,
right.
is it that TV
I
thing that you
hope.
were showing?
Right, I know they're probably gonna ding me for showing that dude with the fireworks. It is what it is, man. Like I said, I'll take a copyright strike for it. It's crazy they're showing it to me already. Sorry to get distracted there, but all of a sudden the thing was telling me warnings. Anyways, these companies, you guys, are dank. Colorado Color Company has a coupon and free shipping over $20. I didn't know that actually. So if you hit their link in the video
And like a
description,
extra
yeah,
Torch Talk coupon?
that's like 10% off any stacks on anything else. I thought that was cool. Anyways, all these companies are dank and help me get to amazing events like this. This is the property here at Melt, Independent Lake Camp in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. It's beautiful. It's yeah, man, it is really something cool. This is the aerial view, as it were. Yeah, shout out to the homie John Knoll for this drone footage. It's pretty dank.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, so over there you're seeing the soft glass truck, you're seeing the cafeteria. Now we're coming up on the torch tents and the big top tent there is like where they have demos and that sort of thing with the main stage artists. gosh, I think this past year it even expanded out over onto those other courts there. Anyways, you guys, this is like over 100 stations of your homies melting glass together, killing it. It is there's nothing quite like it. I know that there's like AGI, which is kind of an event that some of the guys who put this on were involved with, but this is just a different scale, and it's, you know, not to take away from any other event. It's just, this is definitely its own thing. There's nothing quite like
Hey,
this.
boy.
And yeah, it's me walking around and the homie Jordan. These are the cabins. You're in there with your friends, and they've got hot showers. Like it's very livable. It's not necessarily like the summer camp when we were kids, you know. And yeah, the property is beautiful. It's even been improved since this footage. There's like actual stuff over here on the side now, and that fire pit is kind of where they launched the fireworks.
Someone was asking, is that near where AGI was? It's near-ish, isn't it?
I believe so. I never did AGI.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So here's Cowboy, you guys. Christopher Kerner, like a super sweet dude. It really was so nice to actually get to see him in his studio in Eugene earlier in the year. But here he is at Melt, and for those of you who are like, whoa, what's going on here? He had all of his sections kind of pulled down, and he'll take a chunk of tube that he's made, and that'll pop up in a second, and it's cool to look at. I think it's like a vac stack, but instead of color rods, it's like all stringers of color. So it has a ton of tiny lines, and you'll see it in a second. Some homies are passing around a giant chunk of it. And so he's pulled this down to like what looks to be about like maybe a 9.5, because I think that's like a 12 mil blow tube there. And now he's giving it what's called kicks. And each little kick is going to be part of, one of the little wigs and the wags. And they look very tiny. But this style is kind of, what you see like Nady do and use Sheen. They call it zippering. Nady calls it the zipper, that sort of thing. And it doesn't look like much, but when those get condensed back, they're going to have so much more motion in the lines, and man, they just look incredible. And but the process begins with drawing out that line tube. And man, we could talk about this torch setting. This is kind of where you see that triple mix come into play. I believe that he might just be using the triple mix and the fuel, which is like the third knob on the GTT. And this is what Melt is like, you guys. If you want to go hang out over the shoulder of somebody whose work you respect, like, that's totally cool. So these homies were just stopping by to see what was going on, and Cowboy's taking a second to show them what's up, and that's so much of the vibe here. Like, I've never really met anybody acting pretentious or anything like that at Melt. Not to say that most of these people are like that anyways, but it truly is an environment where everybody lets their guard down a little. Everybody's just happy to meet and melt glass together. And, there's just no intimidation level with going over. And, if you were like hanging out at some shop and somebody you thought was a legend was there, it might be a little weird to go stand over their shoulder and watch. But that's not the case at Melt. That's encouraged. That is the point I guess I'm trying to make there. But we got plenty of time because these kicks take a minute. So, and, it's really a bit of a timing game here. He's getting the section hot, soaking the heat into it as evenly as possible in this little band, and then coming out. And as it cools, and then when he knows that it's cooled enough to start the next band, he's going right in on it. And he's really got this timing down. He's super tight. People, when cats who do this a lot get into they get very fast with it. You really knock a few of these out and you'll start to see that timing real fast, and because you're just itching to move on to the next one. But if you do it too fast, I'm not the reversal master, but I've definitely learned it from some heavy hitters. And I know some cats like to even go a little faster, but they'll add a little bit of twist back to correct for it getting pulled a little, because it might still be hot in the preceding band. So there's all sorts of ways to attack this. When I started as an apprentice under Fat Mike, the homie who passed, he was known for a style called bender backs, where the tube gets pulled together to create the same thing, but like two at once. Something I never really got into, but just to say there's a lot of ways to get this pattern in, and some people do these kicks much bigger. But like I said, this is what you see, like Eugene and Nady and these cats. They pull the tube down very thin and add a lot of kicks. And then condensing glass is something, when I first started, like, I was like, what the fuck? Condensing, I don't understand this at all. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just dumb. But it took me a while to really wrap my brain around condensing glass. Pulling glass is easy. Condensing glass, though, is really just a matter of pushing. And see, he's heated up a chunk that he's comfortable with, and kind of giving it a gentle push in as he's doing so. See, there's like kind of the push, and now he's going to give it a little puff, and boom. And he's going to repeat this process throughout this tube until it's back essentially to a ball. And then he's going to do all sorts of wizardry like changing the axis and that sort of thing. But yeah, condensing glass, if you want the glass to come back together, it comes back to like this dank heat thing that I've been really stuck on for God knows how long now, years. But it's this concept of putting an even amount of heat in before you give it that push, if you want it to come back together evenly. It's really not rocket science, but when you're, first getting into it, it's just think about how do you exit the flame? How are you getting the heat into these bands? He's doing it pretty quick and coming out the top. I mean, it's almost hard to learn from these guys who can do this in their sleep. When it comes to those mechanics, you almost need them to like really slow down, which you'd probably get if you were, teaching a class or whatever. But just, you see, like, you can really see the glow here. These bands that he's bringing together are, he's taking a second, really putting the heat into it evenly. He doesn't rush out of the flame. He kind of comes out, as he's still rotating. I like to really come out the back and be sure, that it's like almost like a staged exit, It's like I give a rotation or two here, and I go a little further back and give another rotation, and as you go out, it allows you to exit with a very even heat. But just think about that. Even heat, even pressure, and you're going to be able to bring the glass back together. It's tough. It's one of those things that requires two hands. And I talk about this, like, it's seductive to do stuff that only takes one hand on the glass in the beginning. Implosions and things like that, where you're really doing most of the mechanics on one hand. But the faster you can get used to working the glass where it's getting hot with two hands on it that's just what truly blowing glass is to me. Is it's like being a DJ. You gotta be able to beat match. Now software does it all for you, but we're not there yet with glass. So no, but really, the sooner you can get your hands talking to one another, the better. And that just comes with experience and, doing stuff that has the glass hot with both hands on it, Hell yeah, it's going to get loopy at first. You're going to lose a lot of what you do, or you're going to have to adjust for some wonk. But, after a little while, your hands will really, you'll pick it up. It happens. Or you just find out that it doesn't, and like, but like you find out where your failure points are. It's one way or another, the practice will happen there. So, and now look at all those, look at this thing now. It's like, what the fuck? It's electric, man. Holy hell. The intricacy of the pattern now that, came from just a series of those little tiny kicks. Now that thing is like unbelievably complex. And that was a really good demonstration of condensing. The narration, maybe not so much. I don't know. But now just, but that, I mean, look at how smoothly, just in stages when it was longer, and then as it came together, maybe in halves, and then once it was, that little football-y looking thing, it was able to go all in it at once and condense it back. And I mean, yeah, holy shit. And there was a second there where I was able to catch a bit of the tubing, that the homies were passing around, and it was a giant piece. I believe he started with like a 75 mil vac stack, so it's got a ton of little spots to put the stringers of different colors. And it makes this tubing that has a shitload of lines, that are super fine. It's almost like, it might be the easier and more chill way to do like what I was showing in that Ready episode with the line tools. Like the line tools generate one thing that might be good for, drink stemware and things like that. If you wanted to make like really big blanks like that had a lot of thickness, making a tube like that, where it's just lines near the surface with a lot of clear backing it essentially. And it's really all just math with vac stacks, Just think of like what the inner diameter is, and you need 7 or 8 mil if you're going to use standard rods. But just by that same token, you could do, for example, take like a 50 mil tube and then put like a thin wall of 40 or like 45 inside, and then use 4 mil clear. And that would give you a shitload of stringer spots in a smaller tube, I feel like the 75 is probably more conducive because you've got a little more space between the wall and such, but not really. It's all just math. And I think if you use the bigger rods, I mean, you get more space, but then you'd have less lines. But you see what I mean? It's all an adjustment. So, but if you want to generate a ton of it, you can fill up a 75 mil tube as if you're doing a standard vac stack. But like I said, just use clear and fill all the spots with your stringers and end up with a ton of very fine lines. And check that out. That is freaking awesome. You can see where he gave it the spirals on either end so that you get that spiral in the middle when it condenses back. And here goes another one. Try not to repeat this narration so much. That tubing is, I mean, you can even look at it. It's like, whoo. When you start with stringers and then they come down this much, they kind of lose a certain density. But, I mean, look at how complex it looks as a result of such fine lines. And the colors still look beautiful. They just kind of look like, almost a pastelish type of thing. But when it condenses back, they thicken back up a good bit. And you can see it in the finished work. They look gorgeous. So... And yeah, using that super fine flame, I really do think that's that I don't know. I mean, some people call it like the secret flame, but it's like in the GTT video. So there was where he was giving it that spiral that I was just mentioning that you can see when it condenses back to a ball. It's got all the kicks, but then there's this little spiral in the center. That's because he did that to the end. He'll probably do it to the other end as well. And then some cats like to use their hand torch to get a flame this small. If you don't have a GTT, if you have one like a thing that doesn't get quite that tight, always an option, is to just bring your Smith Little or whatever it'll be.
What about the new sharp flames? Do they get that small?
They get pretty dang small. Yeah, I haven't used them for a process like this, but they definitely get, like the Sharp Flame Bethlehem is what we're talking about. Those are now available on like the Champion. I think the Grand has it now, and there'll probably be like a Sharp Flame Bravo. I mean, it's not like sponsor talk here or whatever. They're one big shout outs to Bethlehem, but we do got to talk a little shit because, the reality is that people weren't as happy with the center fires on their torches, especially people who were familiar with the older ones, like the PM2D. People, I mean, that's like, people really like that torch. And they also made hand torches back in the day called like the Sharp Flame or whatever. And it was like the PME, but then there were some versions of it that just say like Sharp Flame on it. And essentially they brought back that design and they're putting them in the center. So it's definitely a tighter and, essentially closer to that PM2D one that everybody was def stoked on. And I think that mitigates, and like the other thing, here's even more talk that probably Cape burners out there like, Mike, shut up. Shut up. No, I'm just playing. This is stuff they've been open about, but like there were two versions of the alpha. Like older, like when I started on a Bravo and then I upgraded to a champion, and then I got the Delta Elite, and that's where I've been for mad years. It's so much better for the solid work, you know. Um, but anyways, the when I upgraded, I was like, what is going on here? My alpha is acting differently, you know. But ostensibly, it's the same torch, right, in the center. And then come to find out that like they made like a mid-course adjustment on the alpha, like, and sacrificed a bit of tightness for apparently a more neutral, like a better flame chemistry or whatever. I forget the details, but like they made it even less tight. And I noticed immediately. I was like, it wasn't a big deal. It was just like, damn, I think I definitely like the alpha on my Bravo better, and it makes me feel crazy because they're supposed to be the same. You know, it wasn't until like a while later I found out that they legitimately did change that. Anyways, not to get too deep into that, those are still spectacular torches that kick ass. Like, it's not that we're getting, it's like a nitpicky sort of thing. But the new Sharp Flame versions, man, everybody is stoked on those. Like, like, they're dope. I mean, I got to play with the hand torch version a bit, and then it's the top torch on the stack, so I've used it a bit. I did a demo when I stopped by Bethlehem years ago, and did like a cool tour. That was awesome. Kate showed me all this, like the mercury side of the business. Like she was handing me like little bottles of mercury. It feels like you're holding like a iron bar in your hand or something, but it's like a freaking little bottle of liquid. Like what the fuck? Mercury's crazy. Anyways, what were we talking about? They let me play with the prototype version, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking dope. So like I've even gotten to play with it a bit, and yeah, I think everybody is really happy with the Sharp Flame version of these torches. So yeah, if you're in the market for a Bethlehem, I'd probably recommend going with the new one instead, you know, if you can get the Sharp Flame version. So anyways, there's some torch talk here on Torch Talk. But yeah, man, the homie was just adding kick, so I hope we haven't. Somebody just tuned in though and is like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" But if you just tuned in, we just narrated this whole exact thing, and yeah, the homie is using a very small flame and just using careful timing to add these kicks, you know, and just adding a bit of, you know, adjusting his rotation one way and then going the other way the next time, and just back and forth down the line. And yeah, these segments he probably started with, you know, a good like an inch or whatever of tubing, you know, maybe even a little less of you know, this thick vac stacked tubing that, you know, again, when they showed it, it really does look like a giant vac stack, but not clear, but not color rods, you know, clear 7 mil and then all color stringer to give a shitload of these very fine lines. Definitely a dank style of prep. That flame is also excellent for lighting cigarettes. So.
How would you do that?
The homie just lit one on it.
Oh, I was obviously distracted.
Yes, clearly you were. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been having all kinds of cowboy things today, intentionally and not. Carrie picked me up some tacos. You know, I was doing a bunch of editing earlier, and so she was kind enough to pick me up tacos. And then the place, they gave her this like promotional calendar, and it has all this like Mexican cowboy stuff. Like it's freaking awesome. And I was just like, what the fuck of all days? This is the day that you come home with a promotional cowboy poster? It's pretty amazing. And then we saw that article about somebody is putting little cowboy hats onto pigeons in Las Vegas. Like somebody's apparently catching pigeons and gluing little cowboy hats onto them. So I saw that article today and I was just like, man, the cowboy is really the theme of the day.
The cowbirds.
I I mean, it's apparently a form of animal cruelty and such, you know. People are not happy that...
They're stapling hats onto the...
Well, I hope they didn't staple them, but even glue or whatever seems pretty
Yeah.
cruel. Nobody's really sure, though. Like, they interviewed some animal rights person, they're like, well, we think it might interfere with their flying or whatever. We don't know.
Keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. So they're trying to catch the pigeons and free them from their cowboy hats. Which is probably pretty easy.
I hope so.
Well, if they're wearing a hat, it means that the hat person was able to catch them. We just lost like 10 viewers. They're like, oh my god, what is Mike talking about? Pigeons and cowboy hats? Goodness.
Duct tape them to walls. Is a suggestion in chat.
How about that firework joke, though, you guys, right? That was worth the copyright strike. Like, why do we have to watch commercials on this episode? And it'd be like, well, because Mike put in 2 seconds of some guy shooting fireworks off his feet. And so, yeah, here again, the homie is condensing this, heating up segments as evenly as possible, and kind of pushing together as evenly as possible, sort of, you know. It really is just a game of soaking that heat in and then, you know, giving it that pressure to kind of allow the walls to naturally thicken up. Yeah, you see he's never just like rushing in to give it air. You know, always letting that heat settle down. I mean, really, even if you're letting heat like leave the blanket, you know, and letting it cool down a bit, if you just give it a little bit longer, you know, and let that heat soak in or soak out evenly, it will want to homogenize or whatever.
Someone was asking the crucial question: what's a good beginner torch?
Oh, I mean, so whatever torch you can afford generally. I really do think that Bethlehem Stacks, if you're like on a budget, I think that's a really good starter torch, because it's got that sharp flame, you know, on the top like we were just discussing, and the bottom is like a mini Bravo or whatever. Plenty of heat. You know, nice, gentle. It's not as driving kind of, and it's, you know, like GTTs they're amazing, and they're just that they're intense. They're quite a bit more driving, and the Red Max is another option if you're on a budget. I just feel like that Bethlehem Stacks legit stomps on it. I played with one when I was an apprentice, and it's a just fine, you know, nothing against it. If you can get a good deal on one, you know, by all means, that's another one. If you're not on a budget, I like I was mentioning earlier, I started on a Bravo. I think that's a strong starter torch, you know. It's kind of like, it's about equivalent in size to like a CC perhaps, you know, and right in that like Phantom range as well. I love that scroll base that's on them. They're really good torches. In the GTT range though, like they definitely have some, if you wanted to avoid the triple mix, which is almost hard for me to think of, but there's some GTTs that I really like, and the homies are mentioning concentrators. If you're using concentrators, I really think like the GTT Scorpion, or even the Sidewinder, if you have like the 20 PSI concentrators, I think that's a strong option. Either one of those, and you can get them with a link center. So if you have like higher PSI concentrators, like they make like 10 liter per minute 20 PSI ones from a number of companies.
Mm-hmm.
I think those paired with a Sidewinder or a scorpion with the link center are like, I think that's like probably best case scenario. You could probably run the scorpion on 2 of them and that sidewinder on 3. So if you're in a limited oxygen situation, I would take a very strong look, like I said, at the scorpion or the sidewinder with the link center. And the thing is, like, the Lynx is one of those triple mix GTTs. It's the same flame that we're looking at here. That's a Lynx in the center of a Mirage. The thing with those is you just have to be a little more careful. It's not rocket science. They're not fragile. I mean, you're not going to be beating them with a stick the way you will at Bethlehem. Don't get me wrong. But you just really do have to keep the triple mix cracked just a little bit. You don't always even, actually, but that's the safest thing to do as a beginner, is just always keep the triple mix cracked. And the real danger zone is our super tiny flames that don't have much oxygen going through them. Let me pause and go back here. Now you can see the homie. He's just using a blow tube to get air into this and re-round out that side now that he's, you know, popped a hole and kind of prepared to switch the axis. That's essentially what's called a Sophietta. I mean, you can get them with a, like, you know, graphite tip and all this, or you can just make your own, you know, like he's using a super simple one. Like some cats I know love the glass ones, but they'll give it a nice little nozzle and all that, and he's probably got a nicer one at home, or maybe he doesn't. But he's just using a blow tube. You don't have to get crazy with it, you know? So, but you do need to get air into it. All right, here now he's switching it off to that, a new blow tube. And this is so much of the magic of these pieces, you know, is that now he's got these 2 spiral terminations on either side, and he's blow tubed up to a portion on the other end. And now he can really round it out. And yeah, so much of the style is just about changing that axis and then sealing them up to other pieces. And that's what we'll see next, is that he's going to seal this up to a different reversal and kind of demonstrate where these sections are really built. And that's pretty much the extent of this footage. I know somebody was like, we're going to see that Sherlock? Like, nope. That was just to kind of show you guys what he does with these sections and how he builds these sections out. And from here, it's really the same thing as doing any other Sherlock demo that you've seen. You know, it's just building it out with these sections. And I think that's what's so critical. So yeah, I know somebody's going to be like, what? Thumbs down. But but sometimes you just have to find the prettiest picture possible. And here we go. Here's where he is sealing 2 of these together. And just keeps that cold seal on it, you know, with that hole open. Bam. Good to go. And now it's a matter of turning these guys into a ball. And you got to respect that connection. You can see where he's putting the heat is mostly into the piece that he just connected. But it's just so important. Watch how he lets the heat drift back into the other side and, you know, really make sure that that seal goes down. This is the magic. If you just tuned in, you got here at an amazing time. It really is nice. But this is so critical to this technique and getting these clean connections, especially when you've taken the time to line different types of the tubings up, you know, in the exact orientation that you want. So he was a bit cavalier when he connected them, you know. It was like, nope, you're on. Get that handle off. Let me cook a little heat back, you know. And as he gave it the heat and let that kind of get comfortable, so to speak, then he was able to attach another handle, and now he's really able to go in. And this is a really clean connection. I think this is a pretty ideal methodology here. And yeah, getting that middle there out to this point, and now we can kind of treat it like it's kind of a game of condensing now to kind of bring this together and allow it to work out to the size and shape that he wants. Yeah, that, oof. The piece is cool.
Got like 190 people watching with us right now.
Yeah, this is quite crazy. I really appreciate everybody joining us. It means a lot that y'all are here, making this thing a real party every week.
Been a couple of comments. Is this like ESPN for tortures?
This very much is. That is sincerely that is a comparison I've made privately and publicly. I think that what we do and what you're watching a master like Cowboy here do, I think this is one of the coolest things that humans are up to right now. Not to take away from any of the other amazing things that people do, but this is let me look at this fucking thing. Just the process that we just watched is just one crazy example of, you know, I mean, people have been doing reversals and such for so long. It's one of the very first glass things, thousands of years. But look at this level that it's been taken to now and still innovating. I mean, that tubing section that we saw the homies holding a minute ago, that's just a slightly different way of doing it, you know? I'm glad that we can maybe share this and kind of get some folks out there doing this with, you know, not that standard, you know, like, I mean, like what you can buy from my sponsor, Colorado Color Company. Now, but for real, taking this into a little more unique territory with these types of pulls, or maybe even the homies might want to make pulls like this, you know, where it's a pull that's a lot of clear, but a shitload of lines done with those stringers to allow you to get this level of pattern. And I mean, look at this thing. The lines are so subtle that it's almost giving, it almost looks like it was done with fume, if that makes sense. But when you look close, it's all lines of color. You're like, golly. Anyways, I'm getting carried away here. But the point I'm trying to make is that this shit is tight. And it deserves a level of coverage like ESPN brings to various sports. You know, proper camera work, proper interpretation. And, you know, for those who want to sit down, I mean, I want to find more time to do like Sports Center and bring these down to like 15 minutes. I've actually got a name for it and everything. It's called Glass Central Extracts. And I know that many people want that. I hear y'all. But you know, we've gone from bringing 3-4 hours down to 1 or whatever. Or anyways, I want to, for those who want to watch the whole game, like I want to provide that coverage. And you know, I feel very honored to be in the position to share this. And yeah, hell yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is give our people that level of coverage, you know, for those who care. And, you know, maybe just one day, you know, like with organizations like Corning, for example. Did y'all see that David Colton video they made that had interviews with Salt and Z and Susie Silbert, the Corning curator, and David Colton himself? The museum has basically acquired a pipe, and they're like really gung-ho. And I mean, that video is like a tearjerker to me. It's like every bit of, you know, this is what I want the world to understand, you know, how what has happened here with pipe making specifically has taken glass in an amazing, beautiful direction. And to be able to share that, and you know, man, I'm stoked to be able to do this, and I really do aspire to that level of quality, and I think what we do deserves it. And I mean, maybe, just maybe, you know, the homies out there are really gonna, you know, maybe ESPN will be out there one damn day, you know, like who knows. But in the meantime, I'm trying to really, you know, do what it takes to honor these artists and what's happened here, and do it in the right way for us. So yeah, anyways, all right, enough about me. But yeah, no, that is that's an analogy I've made and something I aspire to. So I hope you guys dig it out there. There's another one like a beach ball style, just made by condensing that back and changing the axis. And then there was a piece with Harold Cooney, some prep there where he makes those sections with twisted canes in opposing orientations that are really cool. Yeah, Carrie, could you find that Corning video and link it in the chat perhaps? The guy where like 100 people will probably leave and watch it, but no, you guys should tuck that away for later. It really is a special video from, Corning is the other one, because they've been sharing glass in very high quality for years, but it's only recently has it been, what we do, so to speak. And it's just so beautiful that they've come around in such an honest way, and to hear all these people speak on it, it really is. This is a video that we should be sharing with our families and really letting them see, like, man, once the museums are on board and all that, it's not that we need it. We didn't need that. We built this road completely ourselves. Let me say that. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know. I've always tried to put us, shoulder to shoulder with any other form of glass working, pipe making is. If not, truly where so much innovation is happening, and they talk about this in the video, there's been a tremendous amount of innovation in this space, and to be able to kind of document that and chronicle that, whew. So anyways, I'm so glad you guys are all here with us, making, like I said, making this thing a party. It's made it something worth doing all these years, and made it such a positive experience for me. So hell yeah, I'm really grateful for all y'all out there. Here we go. More sections going together. And this really is just what you see as he's building, these pieces out. It's a lot of fun to look at them and kind of think about all the construction, like, well, what type of ball was that? How was that attached? To what angle was that? Once you really see how it's done, it becomes a whole different ball game, when you're looking at the pieces and thinking about, how they were structured. And yeah, look at the detail on that. It is just like, woo! And there, yeah, doing his best to soak even heat in there. Comes out and continues to rotate as he gives it the air. If you don't keep rotating, gravity is going to affect part that you're inflating unevenly. So it's pretty essential that, you fluidly come out, soak in as much even heat, pause as long as you desire. Some folks like to really go right at it, and multiple, you can go at it all at once slowly. You can hit it once, pause, hit it again, and hit it again. There's all these ways to inflate, but if you're not rotating, gravity is going to be an uneven factor. So just think about everything being even and beautiful. And yeah, again, this is really, really controlled inflation on where that seal came together. That's a place where it's too easy to let your hands drift apart, that sort of thing. And, it's really just the opposite of condensing. But as I was mentioning in the beginning, that was one of those concepts that really threw me. It's like, man, I get how to make it thinner, but making it thicker is something of a mystery. But that's just because it's, it's predicated on everything being extra. You can thin something out and the differences don't matter as much. But when you're thickening something up, if you want it to be even, it's one of those, it's like pushing a Maria. Same deal. It's just like a really exaggerated example, and it's one of those things that reveals your weaknesses. You know what I mean? If your hands aren't rotating evenly, you're not going to put even heat into it, and it's not going to compress evenly. It's like Roger Paramore. I've showed these ornaments that he makes on the show before, and he uses it as like an assessment exercise for his students. He wants you to make this ornament where you like stripe something, twist it up, and then add Marias. And it's like the Marias and the twisting and all of that. Like it lets you take a look at that and kind of see where his students are fucking up, which is so much of it, you know. And that's all, everything in life. All right, and here's some termination. Some termination. I was really opening a hole, not so much terminating it, but just opening a hole cleanly, I should say. I misspoke. All right, what were we talking about?
What torch did you think he was using here?
Oh, I know he's using a Mirage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the GT teaser. All right, here we go. I think this is where we were out the reversal game. And I threw in some additional footage of Cowboy teaching the homegirl. This is Mercedes. She was just a melt attendee, and he was teaching her how to flame polish millie chips here. And I thought that was pretty cool, because these kind of came off the saw, probably polished to like 600. So here, I thought this was just a really cool moment, you know? He was like, oh, how do you do this? And, you know, now she's getting a lesson on doing something cool. And that's just that vibe I was mentioning earlier, you know, where it's like that intimidation factor, that's not what it's about. And everybody is really, it's not to say that these people aren't approachable, you know, period. It's just, this is an environment where, you know, they're wanting people to come up and ask what they're doing, you know, that sort of thing. They wouldn't have come out to this and been part of it like this if that wasn't what they were down with, you know. So it's an opportunity to see and learn so much. Yo, shout out to the homie Chris there in the back. Kahune Glass or whatever, isn't it? I don't know. I forget. It's Chris Kahune is the homie. Big shout outs. And then this, okay, this is, I've shared this as well. It's on another episode, but I was like, as long as we're in Cowboyville, then let's show all the tricks that we picked up that year. And here he had lensed up one of these millies, right? It got clear on the back and clear on the front, and now he's got a big lens on there, right? And that in and of itself gives a really cool look. But what I thought was neat is that he shaped this into essentially like these really crisp attachments with unique lenses on the front. So what he's going to do is push the face of the lens in, and then he's also going to like round it out and use like the Marver or whatever and really crisp the shape up. I just thought this was super cool and really worth sharing. And also, speaking of cool and worth sharing, I actually added in some bonus stuff. Some astute viewers may have, and there's also a cool moment there, like where he pushed that out in the marble mold. But I also added some bonus footage of Annealed Innovations and Hick Dog. And these were just some moments that I caught wandering around with the camera. And they weren't, you know, like full shows. But I caught both of them like flattening the bottoms on stuff. So I thought y'all might like to see some booty action. And and Hick Dog doing some attachments on an incredible dragon piece. So that's coming up next. So yeah, we're kind of into like the bonus footage segment here. But, you know, Melt really is something else. And, you know, what we're in here is this tent that has over 100 torch stations, and it's just so many homies throwing down together. Salt collaborated with probably 25 people that week. Was it more than that? Was it 40? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Okay, and guys, so here he's kind of almost rounded this thing out, and he's going to use that sizing to give it more of an edge to crisp up, you know, after it gets that push. But here, just shaping at an angle in that Elemarver to really kind of condense this thing back in a controlled way. Well, that's much more of a squat, you know, type of thing. More like attachment shape, you know. Unless you want like a... I'm not even going to get into what it would look like if you just added that thing when it's all like straight cylinder shape, you know. Be like, yeah, was that piece happy to see me? What's up with that attachment? All right, so this thing has been reshaped, and then here comes some super dope magic where he's going to give it this push. And, Cowboy makes these really cool abstract kind of patterned millies and stuff, and they really kind of they reward this unique lensing, by they already look cool, but then when you're getting them through this really wild look, and here's where he pushes this. He needed a blast shield so we could look at the reflection, but no, you're getting to see. Here it is, man. It's like, yeah, they're not just for your, CBD hole or whatever. um, Here's where he's giving it more shape. See that? Look at that. Look at how that much that just crisped up, but it pushes in the middle. I thought that was super cool. It was just one of these like magical moments that I caught, when I'm in the tent there. And this is from 2018. In 2019, Carrie was the one wandering around the tent finding these magical moments, whereas I was 100% on the main stage filming Salt and Itai and Phil Siegel, and we have a tremendous amount of content to share from there. But yeah, this was from 2018. There's so much stuff that it's almost impossible to share it all before the next melt. And yeah, I thought this was so neat. I mean, look at how much the shape of the encasement is changed now, and it, like I said, it looks so crisp on those edges, and it's just really ready to be attached. And that was pretty hot at this moment, so it was hard to get a finished shot. But if you go look at Cowboy's work, you'll see a bunch of these types of attachments on his pieces, with interesting lenses. So definitely, something to think about. Look like he was thinking, is he gonna go in on it with the end of that? That I've not seen. I think he just polished it up here. There it is. Kind of really reinforcing that shape and phew. Really, really neat. And really, like I said, it gives that this already abstract Marini an interesting, way of being seen. At this moment, it looks like a glass Cheez-It, but when it cools down. Yeah, so guys, this is Annealed Innovations, and his work is really amazing. Gosh, I have this absolutely headbanger piece that he made with Salt from 2019 Melt to Share, and Carrie actually went into the tent and filmed him doing like this skull part, and then I filmed Salt attaching like these crazy horn looking things. Like, it turns into a completely wild. Anyways, this is one of these tag team moments that it's so nice to have Carrie with me to help film. So huge shout outs to Carrie, my partner, as it were. But okay, I thought this was neat. So he kind of at this moment he was just getting that bottom even, give a nice even round booty. But now he's going to flatten this out, and I think it's an interesting challenge to flatten something like this when it's not like a standard mini tube that's just straight off the blow tube handle, and you're pushing it down or whatever. So yeah, I feel like the angle here that he has to work at, kind of one of those things that you have to do sometimes, and I thought that it would be neat to see. I came up on him doing this, and it's not something we're going to make a whole show out of, but I really thought this was valuable to see. So here he goes for an initial flattening. He does this in a few steps, he kind of even, I think on the next one, he may give it a little pull in so that it pulls in the middle. Because, generally speaking, you don't want a piece to be just totally flat on the bottom. It's better if they kind of push in so it has like a real rim to sit on. But he's also got these really crisp lines in there, and he wants to keep those, I imagine, really perfectly even around the way. His work is very precise and very clean. So here you see him taking his time and just, yeah, doing it right. And here's another homie stopping by to watch. I mean, this is what Melt's about. You know, I mean, if you have a torch spot, that's great. You know, you're working sometimes, but when you need a breather or when you're not working or you just want to kick it, or if you have the spectator ticket, you know, this is what it is, man. Wandering around, chilling with friends, you know, watching people do incredible shit, learning shit, asking them questions. Then maybe you go fishing together or go hit the skate park or whatever it'll be. There's so much to do at Melt. It's crazy. They have essentially the entire camp, except for like the gymnastics stuff, which we all know would go poorly.
Ride golf carts at 3 in the morning around the go-kart track.
There's a go-kart track. It's incredible. I think we're gonna try and turn this into like an official attraction with Micro. It'll be like Micro's Wild Ride. So yeah, here's where he's letting that bottom sink in a bit. You see that? And yeah, the homie's just taking his time doing this really evenly. This dude's work is excellent. Like this is, I thought it was worthwhile to see how he goes about this. And you'll get to see Hick Dog do this as well, a very different way. In just a minute. Yeah, really taking his time with this. And yeah, here's Hick Dog. Real friend of the show. He's joined us on here and in the past. It's always a pleasure. And here is an incredible tube. I believe this was a collaboration with Windstar. And here he's kind of at that same moment where we came in with Nick. Yo, shout outs to the homie Bill in the background, wandering by. Here he's kind of evening out the bottom there. Yo, that was Amy Short, the Glass Vegas homegirl, wandering by. I think she was handing out food, but I guess it ran out. But here comes in the reserves, Kevin and Sky.
Ooh,
And there's Shaka. Yeah, man. I mean, they were wandering around with like garlic shrimp one night. They were wandering around with cupcakes other nights. The food at Melt is lit. You're not going to go hungry at Melt. And they even had amazing vegetarian options. Josh Ford last year was in charge of that, and he did an absolutely amazing job. I was eating this Carrie's food half the time. It was great. All right, and here, so he got that thing evened out, and now is ready to flatten it to his desire, and he's going to use the hand masher, which is pretty fucking boss. Boss moves for a boss tube, or whatever, I don't know. But this is a sick piece, man. James's work is really impressive, and it's just every year it seems to get crazier and crazier, and he's a really great dude. He's always so helpful to all the people around him. I know a number of these cats are doing, you know, kind of sculptural work, and they're all just getting better and better together. Like, shout out to the homie Tony Casey, man, doing incredible work, you know, also getting better every year. I mean, every day, really. It's just all these guys are always seem to support one another so well. It's nice to see. And look at this. He wants it to sit at a certain angle. So he's just really establishing that angle. Even that blow tube a good chew.
That's a key technique.
Yeah, hell yeah. And yeah, this really does have me pretty nostalgic for Melt. I might spare you guys the scene, but I have a Melt tattoo. Some of you guys have already know the deal, and that's how much I love Melt. Many people who come to Melt, they have a tattoo artist there every year, and a whole bunch of tattoos you can get, and a ton of people do it. It really is a special event. It's, you know, there's some really amazing events out there. This one really is its own thing, and yeah, check out Hick Dog's custom label on his tool there. Got that Hick Dog label on the back. I thought that was pretty neat. So here he's going to do some attachments, and he's got a Bunsen burner laying on its side, pre-warming stuff. I thought that was interesting. And here we are about to do an attachment. This is just one of those things where I think I was filming something else, but I was checking in on Carrie, who was filming Shaka next to him. And that's another thing. We have like a 2-hour penguin rig demo that Carrie was filming while I was filming this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on the Torch Pass. Some of you guys may have seen it, but yeah, that is a really awesome demo. And it's like tightly cut too. Like there wasn't much to eliminate there, you know, because he does a couple of different rigs, and it's like every part is worth seeing him do it on each rig. So there might be a tiny bit of repetitiveness, but it's like you want to see him do it again on all these different things. And his style of doing his attachments and stuff, he's constantly using his torch as a Bunsen. We'll talk about that another week, but yeah, homie in the chat says he needs this rig. Yeah, dude, his Instagram is in the video description. By all means, hit him up. And you know, this piece probably sold a year or two ago, but I imagine they would be happy to meet you on halfway on that. Because, yeah, I do believe this is one with Windstar where she did the drawing section there on the can, you know? And then he did the rest. And if you really do want one, I'm sure they'd be happy to oblige. I see them at shows together, you know, we're just... Shout-outs to Cody from the Glass Grind out in Colorado. Man, she threw an incredible collector party for, like, Hick Dog and Shaka and a couple of other homies, Tony and Emma, I was just mentioning, and had a beautiful after party. And apparently some of y'all saw me in the hot tub on various people's like Instagram stories and such.
Nice.
That was a beautiful time. And then Derek Mitzel came out, another guy, man, making dragons, who's just murdering the game. We're playing right into the Tokyo Smoke guy's hands here, whatever. But but no, it really is. It's crazy to see this form, you know, evolve and go in so many different directions with folks. And yeah, but man, I just had to give a shout out to the homies out there with that after party. But anyways, we were all just hanging out there together, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to hang out and make you a sick tube like this. So was the point there.
We have 265 people joining us right now.
That's amazing. I really appreciate everybody who joins us, and it really makes this thing a party and such a positive experience for me. And yeah, that's great. I really appreciate all y'all out there. And here he is doing a little bit of a team effort finishing this up. So he wiped away the thing there, but now he's just giving it some flattening and reamings. And then she's going to be off to the kiln. Hell yeah. So yeah, that was Hick Dog and Nick Astorino, Annealed Innovations, and Cowboy, of course. Man, huge shout out to all those cats for letting us put cameras in their faces, and man, just for making Melt a special experience, and for letting me share that with you guys. And thanks to these companies that y'all are seeing now that I do just want to take a minute to acknowledge. They make it possible for me to go to all these shows year round, and we're going to do it all over again in 2020 with hopefully some even more additions. And it's my vision to give our industry this level of comprehensive coverage. We deserve it, and these companies are pitching in to help make that possible. So hell yeah, can't give them enough thanks. And
Mythic.
yeah, what's up?
I was going to say Mythic Glass says, I got to say I laughed when you jumped in the hot tub. I wouldn't be as gutsy.
Well, I mean, shit. You The older you get, the more you're going to appreciate a good hot tub, trust me. And I just turned 39. That's the year when you see a hot tub, you get in it immediately. So, hell yeah. Guys, man, I've got a couple of sticker packs. I actually found these sticker packs way back, like from way back in the day. I've not even looked at them. These are so old that they actually have the for rectal use only stickers. Speaking of stickers you put on your tools, I used to send these out in the sticker packs, and people put them on their glass tools, you know? So you'd be like, this claw grabber is for rectal use only, folks. Anyways, yeah, these have some really fun stickers. Another great event, speaking of the DFO, it's got a sticker for that in there. It's got, man, yeah, these are some dank old packs. They've got like a lot of older stickers, and I'll probably throw some new ones in there for you guys too. So yo, man, there's 268 people watching, so like throw a number 1 through 400 into the chat now, and we'll give those away. And then I also did, I've got a bunch of extra milli pieces, so I'll throw in some fat milli chunks into those packs, and we'll pick some winners for those. I really do appreciate everybody who tunes in and makes this a fun and positive experience for me. And yeah, so I got a nice fat chunk. This is a UV comb with pink and blue, so I'll call it like Miami Lights. Anyways, and guys, there is one other way that the homies pitch in, and some of y'all is Torch Pass. You go to torchpass.org. $5 a month unlocks a ton of stuff, and it all goes directly towards my travel expenses and all the stuff involved in doing this. Batteries for cameras and all these ridiculous little expenses that add up. In exchange, I put a bunch of cool stuff up there, usually 3 or 4 things a month, and they hang out for 6 months. Like what I do for everyone. But some stuff we're setting it aside, and you know, in time everything goes public. But yeah, some of this stuff is gonna chill out there for like 6 months or more, and just my way to say thanks to the homies who you know, kick in just a little bit to help make this possible. So yeah, that's the sales pitch or whatever. Nah, but I really do appreciate everybody on there, man.
Yeah, it's $60 a year.
Yeah, no, it's very little, and it simply is not possible to do what I'm doing without a little bit of help from the homies. My entire sponsorship structure is totally public. I'm only asking 100 a month from all of these companies, and I know it might seem like a lot, but when you have to pay for multiple flights and hotels and this and that, like that chunk of cash that I get every month is gone like within hours. I'm like, all right, I got to buy this. I got to plan for this. I got to do that. I got to da-da-da-da. So, you know, it does mean a lot that the homies who can pitch in. If you can't, though, it's no big deal. Like I said, everything you see here will be public in time. Just some of this is stuff that I've set aside or released early for the homies who pitch in. So that I hope y'all... I hope that's understandable, if not fair, if not dank, you know. That's what it is, though. So I really did my best to find a way to reward the homies who can just pitch in a little bit, to make it possible so that we all get to see this stuff. Because it really is becoming like essentially a full-time thing, and it means it's hard for me to get into the studio and do my own thing, you know. Not to complain or nothing, it's just, man, you know. Every day out of the studio means X amount of money out of my family's, you know, pockets or whatever, and especially while traveling and all that, it would just mean a lot if you can pitch in. So, but if not, just being here and being part of the party also makes this possible. So nobody, I don't want anybody to feel obligated. It's just if
63 people here now. That's amazing.
yeah, I really that is so tight. I appreciate that you guys, that so many of you, you know, dig this type of content, because, you know, that's what makes it, it's just a whole ecosystem, you know. It's a beautiful circle of homies tuning in and homies pitching in and getting more and just feeding that cycle. So yeah, this is all stuff that's chilling on there. Some of it's already public, some of it's not. But I did just want to give you guys just a look in exchange for giveaways. No, I like to sneak that in while while I'm asking everybody to throw numbers in or whatever. But yeah, that's the deal, you know.
I was asking if you've got any plans for some Spectrum eye cane in your shop.
Yeah, you know, I don't know about it, if I'd call it a spectrum. I'll show you real quick.
Or radiant or an ombre effect.
So yeah, I have a bunch of color in right now that I'm gonna do kind of like a cadmium one. So I've got like it's gonna be like a light yellow in the core, and then the more like orangey yellow into actual orange, and then into red. So it'll be something of like a fire spectrum eye. And then I actually also have a plan to take some of that and then coat it in white. And it's something that I picked up from Salt, because he has like multiple versions of his eyes, you know, and some of them he makes the eyes attachments with, and then others he'll add them like with the white around it, and allows it to cook back and make a little eye. And some of them he'll even sculpt just right on that. So I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to make some eyes like that so I could fuck with them. So anyways, I know the homie, whoever asked, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the chat, but if you mean the full rainbow one, I might do that like in time. But right now, yeah, my next Spectrum eye cane is definitely this fire fade one or whatever.
So much love for Mike in chat.
What? Oh, you guys are too kind. Yeah, I don't know what else to say there, man. This whole experience has just been nothing but positive for me, and yeah, it's man, I'm so happy to be able to do something, you know, that homies out there really do seem to appreciate, and the community that's formed around this thing has, you know, continuously just kind of blows me away. You know, some days I'm just like, man, I can't believe this all of this is going down as a result of anything I've had to do with something. So, yeah. Anyways, all right, are these numbers coming in? Because we got a bunch of...
They are. Would you say 100? I saw 400.
Okay, yeah, no, I said 400 because, yeah, there were like over nearly 300 people tuned in, so I didn't want there to be too much overlap. And then, yeah, so we got some sticker packs, we got some Millie. Man, with 260 people tuning in, fuck it, I'll even throw in another couple of sticker packs. So we'll pick some numbers here. All right, I think we're ready to do it. Carrie in her hat, we gotta take a say. Yeah, that's right. How to pardon us. Woo. All right. Yeah. So let me bring up the lovelyrandom.org. And we'll pick some numbers here. All right. Man, 1 through 400. This is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Jesus says, how's that new HVO system? Mike keeps laying bro, shout out from Chile. That's really cool. I don't have a new HVO system. My old HVO system is sitting in a basement right now. I don't know when I'll get a home studio set up, but I've been renting and such, so yeah, I've been lazy about getting a home studio set up because I like renting. Like, oh man, this is dope. Okay, I think we're ready to do this. If you get here late, I'm sorry. Clickety clack. All right, 351. I do not see a 351. 204. Nah. The guy who just picked 420, you're definitely not going to win with that. All right, no, nothing. Oh, no, sorry. I see a 371. Okay, 77. I'm liking that. I'm feeling like somebody did that.
Oh, Casey Hall.
All right, Casey Hall, that's you. So as the first winner, you've got one of the packs that comes with Millie and stuff. So KC Hall, please shoot me an email at mikemason@gmail.com. That would be extra tight. And please do it within the next 24 hours, because I I'm gonna cut the shit. It's really annoying when you have to like keep track of winners weeks after you gave something away. So please don't do that to me.
So
All right,
your,
clickety
your,
clack.
your new mem in chat
It was that.
with the Woody doll, the two-stage torch.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dave Shelmechka in chat says, my hat reminds him of that new mem.
Okay, what is it?
Well, my hat.
Oh, the hat. I got you. Okay.
Woody.
Yo, okay, I see, like, I definitely see a winner. Yeah, I see a winner. Okay. Angry COD fan?
Angry COD fan, eh?
COD babies, Call of Duty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He has answered the call of a sticker pack. So, yeah, yo, Angry COD fan, hit me up, mikemason@gmail.com, please. And then, yo, I feel like picking another couple of packs. I got a whole bunch of packs made up right now for something special. I'm not really ready to talk about it yet.
Ooh.
But if you remember what I did like a couple of years ago around Christmas, get ready. Well, I just fucking present packs are coming, dogs. Just give me another few days. I got a bunch of new stickers on the way and stuff. So
I'm not gonna say a word about it.
not gonna say a word about it except
Don't tell anybody.
no. Yeah. What was I gonna do?
Drawing another number, I think.
Is that what it was? All right, gotcha. I was like, why am I back on screen again? What's happened here? All right, clickety clack. That's $3.95. What's up?
I see nothing.
I feel like we already picked that number. All right, here we go. 138. Nope. 360. Oh. Where is it?
I don't see anything.
It says 1 out of 1.
Really?
Yeah. You're not getting one?
I don't have one on my end.
You sure?
Well, my computer says no.
Oh, never mind. I see. Okay, it's like there's a setting on the control panel where it's like 360-degree video. I'm like, no, man, I'm not that cool.
Not yet.
All right.
I'm waiting for you to read the numbers out. Like I can't see them.
Yeah. You can't see them, Carrie?
No, I can see them.
I was about to say.
I just can't be bothered to turn my head.
Gotcha. Okay. Somebody asked if Torch Talk has an Instagram. Nah, too lazy for that. But I do want to try and get the Glass Central.
Get a bunch of likes, and let's see if we can get like at least 10 or 15 likes, and maybe Mike will start posting.
What's that? Well, I want to get the Glass Central one going and maybe use that more like when I'm out of town and show you guys more fun random things.
Yeah, I'm teaching him how to use the story
Whoa,
feature.
here we go. 1.
Oh, geez.
Oh, no.
Red. Okay, let's go.
Did anybody pick 1? Can we just do this on the honor system? I see actually 1. I see pasta salad with grapes. We got
Where is that?
in the chat. We definitely have a winner there. Pasta salad with grapes.
What's he say?
I see it.
Was it just a number?
Yes. He's picked the number 1. Apparently twice.
I noticed there were a couple of numbers, like number 1s, that came up just during chat.
Oh, really? No, he did it within the thing. This dude's sitting there like, Carrie, stop. I won.
Oh, Carrie?
No, he definitely picked the number 1. Pasta salad with grapes. Hit me up, mikemason@gmail.com. I have a sticker pack for you. And we're going to go ahead and pick one more sticker pack. Because stickers are fucking fun. And I figured out the cheapest way to mail them. The 70-cent 2-ounce stamp. Well, the ones with Millie and stuff, I have to spend a few bucks. But that's okay. You guys are worth it. All right, here we go. 66. No. 183.
Ooh.
Oh. All right. What it is?
All night.
Right, all night.
This is
That's
awesome.
right. Very
a lot
good.
Of names
All right. There it
familiar
is.
with. That's cool.
Yeah, so right all night. Dude, get me your address at mikemason@gmail.com. Please, homies, hit me up within the next 24 hours. Preferably just right now. And then, yeah, that'll be the best thing. And, cool. Well, guys, thanks so much to everybody who tuned in. Man, I really do appreciate you guys. This is man, just such a. I'm so thankful that people give a shit. Pretty dope. No, it's I really do. Well, I hope you guys are having a nice holiday season. Not stressing out too much, making that ornament money and that sort of thing. We're definitely going to be back next week. I think we're going to be here all throughout the thing. Although the 31st is New Year's Eve, we might take off for New Year's. I'm not 100% on that, but
We'll
yeah.
see.
And I'm not certain what we're going to run next, but I think the Penguins might be coming up next, and then it depends. I've got a couple of people I'm waiting to hear from as well, so
Cool.
if I hear from somebody who wants to claim a Tuesday, that's what it'd be. Anyways, I'm getting rambly now. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. You guys really rock. I appreciate y'all so much. You truly do make this thing a party and a positive part of my life, and yeah, makes it a beautiful thing for me, and I hope you all dig. So I'm gonna hand you off to Carrie for a more lovely goodbye. But hell yeah, I hope you all have a great week. Thank you again for tuning in.
Thanks kindly to all y'all for joining us. Until next week, get on those horses and ride on into the sunset.
Yep. Night, everybody.